Zoom 2024. And of course, as usual, we have our midweek guest, Mr. Takechi to come on here, public affairs analyst, a syndicated columnist, and a TV host.
Good morning, Winifred. Good morning, Nigerians. How are we doing?
We are
Preparing
doing
for
great. Just
it's
3 days,
72 hours.
3 days to go.
72
You have
hours.
butterflies in your stomach. I do.
I do. But not many. Not many.
Yeah, just 72 hours, as you say. I don't be electing his president. Wow, change of battle. So, without wasting much time, we are looking at the paper headlines on today's on our menu today. We have Nigeria's most influential newspaper, leadership. Leadership is leading with the story 2023 elections. Vote where you are. Northern Elders Ohanese tell Nigerians. 2023 elections. Vote where you are. Northern Elders Ohanese tells tell Nigerians. And we have several riders underneath this story. Other stories as well. Tinubu above the masthead says PNB didn't impose running mate on me. President Muhammadu Buhari didn't impose running mate on me. IGP has 4-year term, can't be sacked. Court ruled. IGP has 4-year term, can't be sacked. Court rules. Naira swap Katsina Kogi Zamfara file contempt charge against Malami Emefiele. Naira swap Kaduna Kogi Zamfara file contempt charge against Malami, that is the AGF, and Emefiele is CBN governor. That story that is on page 7 of the leadership newspaper.
Well, I think the biggest news right now is the one you just read, the contempt charge against Malami. And by this time, maybe before noon, we will know what the decision of their lordship.
Just like a colleague said, he said that he knows that maybe before the day runs out, other states will be joining him as well. That it doesn't believe
But
that
by now,
if we stop at just these
but
few
by
states.
now, this will have been going on in court. I think the court stays by 9 in the morning.
Okay.
Recall that the breaking news happened immediately after our session last Wednesday,
Oh yes.
where the court said the old currency can coexist with the new one. But we have seen the
Buhari
president
thought otherwise.
thought otherwise. And in his nationwide broadcast, you heard what he said. He said he has been made to believe that he will help to curb vote buying. And he cited that as one of the other reasons, apart from the fact that 80% of money in circulation has been mocked up. And I asked myself, Buhari is not acting like a politician. Many politicians, and that's why we have not seen Electoral Offences Commission passed by the National Assembly. They know if they do, they will be caught in the way. Now, you want to forestall vote buying,
Mm.
but you rose to power on the crest of vote
Good
buying,
bye. Exactly. That's what
both in
Nigerians
2015
are
and
saying.
2019. So that means you are being sanctimonious.
Yes.
That means you are being selfish.
Mm.
The ladder you used to climb,
You are thrown
you are burning it. You are not even throwing it away. You are burning
yeah,
it,
money is very.
and then you are now deliberately creating opportunity for the opposition. That means the special purpose vehicle called APC was meant for Buhari to serve his interest, after which it can disintegrate.
Yes.
Because the moment APC loses next Saturday, it disintegrates.
Yes.
That is
That
the
is-
and that
yes,
that
that's
fear
the thought.
had always been there, that will APC still exist
No, I don't.
after Buhari. This is an indication that Buhari was packaged for APC, and now is just barely 2 months, 3 months left in office. They are dismantling the contraption. And that is why you see people like
And even if, just like what you said, even if the party even split into splinter groups, like we had the ACN, CPC, and even ANPP,
AFDP
I
and
don't
the
think
ABGA.
Buhari himself, his own CPC, I think he also disagree because after this, I don't see him also participating in politics again.
That's what we are saying. He has said he will retire to Daura and tend to his cattle. So he believes he's done with politics and he will just do Sidonlo like Goodluck Jonathan, like Obasanjo. But you see,
My
for me,
pressure is that not because not
you know my concern, and I'm talking as a student of politics, not as an activist. Many APC candidates would never forgive Buhari if they lose this Saturday election. And let me say this. The APC nomination form was the costless for presidential candidates and for the other position. When you compare, APC charged 100 million for presidential nomination, PDP charged 40 million, APC charged 50 million for governorship nomination, PDP charged 20 million. Now, that's the line. These candidates who still spent their hard-earned money to get APC form participate. Many of them were dragged to court. They've hired services of lawyers. They spent themselves dry. They have been involved in campaign for over 140 days now. In fact, campaigns ends tomorrow. And you can see that under the current law, campaign is for 150 days. Now, people have spent themselves dry. And all of a sudden, the opportunity for them to win has been lost. Because even, if the mood in Abuja is anything to go back, people are so despicable of APC today that I'm sure even if there is going to be area council election this weekend, APC will not likely win any councillorship. Now, that is why there is this fight, an open fight against Buhari. Did you know what Kano State Governor called what Buhari did? He said COVID-23. He said it's not COVID-19. This is COVID-23. I read it yesterday. He said this is COVID-23.
And even the governor also went ballistic. He said that Buhari has not done anything.
So now you who brings an ant-invested firewood from the farm to expect lizard. That is why Buhari in cahoots with Malami, in cahoots with Emefiele, are so unpopular now. Because it will seem like the meeting that was held on Sunday between the leadership of APC and the governors, as well as the subsequent one that held with Malami about Monday, did not yield any positive result, which is why the governors have instructed their lawyers to institute contempt proceedings against the AGF. Now, we know AGF was legal advisor or something of that nature to CPC. So it's a loyalist of Buhari from time past.
Oh, yes.
But people should be mindful. I'm not a politician, but people should be mindful of posterity. Like Arafai said yesterday, you said, oh, you don't want us to use money to buy vote. But vote buying can take different shapes. Vote buying can be in cash or in kind. You can give people food to vote for you. It's money you buy, used to buy. It doesn't have to be in cash. There are, in fact, if you read section 121 and section 1127 of the Electoral 2022, it talked about both cash and kind inducement as well as incriminated both the giver and the receiver. So, and the opposition party that are playing the ostrich, that are hanging on. In fact, did you know that PDP said there should be no extension of deadline for the currency swap?
Then that came up again.
Five political parties that are sympathetic to it went to court and got an injunction early before the one given by Supreme Court. Now, they felt if PDP, APC cannot get money to buy votes, that their own chances will be enhanced. What they didn't know is that the leech is killing itself, thinking it's killing the dog. Because you have this cash to spend to pay your party agent and for your logistics, and that means you are vulnerable. You can be rigged out easily. Look at it this way. I raised this issue on Nigeria Info, was it on Monday or Tuesday? On Monday. And somebody called and said, hey, they can do transfer. You know that transfer has limit. You can exactly. I've been trying to buy recharge card online since 4 days ago. I've not succeeded. As you see, I don't have credit on my phone. Not because I don't have money to buy, but I don't have cash to go and buy from Malam, and I cannot buy online because of the delay. I've been trying to make transfer, not send it to another bank. They have not responded in the last 4 days. So the opposition party that thought they will gain may end up losing, because at the end of the day, which transfer can you make that they will allow you to transfer 1 billion in 1 day? You cannot. All of us, corporate and individual, have limits that you can make. So you need the Labour Party, for instance, is deploying 137,000 agents. Now, 134,000 or 137,000. You need to pay this agent. Now, which app will you use to pay that huge sums of that number? Let's assume you are paying them 10,000. That you pay them ahead of the election. And if you don't pay them ahead of election, they won't go. Or if they go, they are vulnerable to anybody that's ready to buy them. So this is why parties ought to have united and said, look, yes, this is a nice policy, but please, let's suspend it and allow. Look, yesterday it was reported that in Lagos State University, one of the staff slumped and died of queue to collect 5,000 naira. To collect 5,000 naira, the man died. It's so that is number 14 person that have been identified to number 14, because the Punch newspaper did an earlier head count of those who have died, and as at Monday they put it at 13 in protests across 12 states. Now the one that happened in Lasso 2 days ago is number 14 person. Should we be losing lives all in the name of? So I considered what Buhari has done with this redesigning of New Naira as burning down a building because we want to kill a rat. You say, see this bush rat that has entered. Oh yeah, put fire on the building, because that's what it amounts to. How many politicians do we have contesting election? They are less than 1% of the population. So you want to prevent them from buying votes, and the next thing you made over 200 million Nigerians to suffer untold hardship. As I speak with you, there are services I've not been able to access because I don't have cash. I don't have cash. Some people will say, if you want to pump your tire, you are paying 100 naira, you should do transfer.
So you not transfer.
100 naira to do.
Fertilizer does not have account.
That's what I said on Sunday. This last Sunday, I was doing a work on my system, so my laptop battery indicated that I should recharge. Unfortunately, there was no public supply, so I asked my gatekeeper, please put on it there. In the course of doing that, the rope cut. Okay, go and call technician to come and fix. The guy said we need to buy something 1,000 naira. Okay, let me transfer. He said he doesn't have bank account. Okay, where you want to go and buy, can they take transfer? He said they know they take transfer. That was my journey is still 40 till this one. So you can just imagine. You have seen videos and pictures of people in the market just doing like this. Millions of jobs have been lost, particularly micro and small enterprises have closed shop. And so this administration that says it wants to grow, it wants to employ 10 million people in 10 years, they should take a discount of how many people have lost their jobs in the course of this. So now, good news is that we read in the papers today that INEC has been settled. That the cash that INEC requested for has been provided, and that they can get it across the CBN in all the states. But what about you and I, who will be going on election?
The one thing though that surprising me is that if you see that this ongoing fight to force Buhari to rescind his decision, it's mostly the northern government that actually be focused on it, and even their states to take undertaking further the way to go. However, in the process that is ongoing across the country, we see it in the south. What is happening there? Why the north that are supposed to be doing, they are not just
It
bothered?
is strategic.
They are not bothered.
They are not. They won't be bothered
But
because
yet their governors are crying.
listen, it's strategic that it is their governors that should speak out because they don't want to damage the chances of Ashwadi Bola Ahmed Tinubu. You know, it's Tinubu that first said in
So is
Abeokuta.
it just the only southerners that are feeling the pinch?
No, it's not. It was in Abeokuta. Ashwadi said they are hiding they are hiding money, they are hoarding fuel, they are hiding money. And the presidency felt slighted. Since then, he has held his breath. He wasn't criticizing the president. But it's strategic for northern governors to speak up because they do not, particularly the APC governors in the north, do not have a presidential candidate. It's the south that has presidential candidate. And so they are, in fact, in Lagos,
What did they bought gold 2 banks in
Ogun, the Ogun State governor in Ogun, the governor as well as Akari Bobemo told protesters that they should stop protest, that all their own naira notes they can be spending it, that nobody will stop them. And that's what Lagos State government also did, that old and new currency should be spent alongside.
At the end of the day, the artisans they were not attending.
Yeah, because it's dicey.
Protest at the last one.
It's dicey. If a traditional ruler or your governor said spend it, and you are not using it to buy something from government, so those who collect it, in the event that they are shut out, and you see the whole thing is messed up. Last Friday, we were told that those who have this old naira note could go to
Central Bank.
to money deposit bank.
Okay,
If they add between 500,000 and less, that they can exchange their own notes at the money deposit bank. Only for, and that is only if you have above 500,000, you should come to CBN. But later that Friday afternoon, CBN issued a statement that they never said that every transaction for cash swap should not be taken to Central Bank. But that is dangerous. It's dangerous to the event, to the extent that between today and tomorrow, INEC will be going to CBN to collect its sensitive material. And people are also going to be queuing up to do the transaction. So the whole thing can actually be chaotic. But beyond and above that, what I've also seen is that particularly there is a trending video of how CBN went to remotest part of Kano with new cash, and they were asking the community people to come out and have their old notes exchanged for new ones. But I didn't see anything of such in the southern states.
Yes, some people raised that.
Which is why Nana sick.
Somebody now counter that yes, she was in the south that she saw it happening.
I didn't see it If there is, CBN can also post the video on their Twitter or their social media. But the learned Sikh Femi Falana has asked that Emefiele or CBN should publish the distribution of the new note. Let's know who gets what, so that we can hold these people to. That's fair enough. You may be surprised that many of these northern states will get maybe 70%, and only 30% distributed to the banks in the south, which is why we are feeling the crunch more. Because I asked myself, Erifai is saying only 400 billion of new notes has been printed. Well, between 300 or 400 billion. Meanwhile, what happened in they have mopped up 2.1 trillion. And they are telling us that the printing and minting have some constraints. And something tells me that it's printing and minting that is printing the sensitive materials for INEC. So it's first come, first served. Election date is here. As at the time INEC will possibly have engaged printing, they didn't think of Naira redesign. Now you can see, and it's just one office. They don't have branches. This printing and minting does not have branches.
It's what Nancy everybody said. That take at least a year for them to.
So why then would you insist that 1,500 is no more legal tender? And now we want to go online to do electronic banking. The platforms
are overwhelmed.
The platforms
yes,
they didn't plan for it. They didn't increase their bandwidth. So you now have a lot of failed transactions.
Many failed transactions.
Many failed transactions.
How do you now even get to the bank, access the bank to rectify it, to go for customers?
Yesterday I went to Ghana Street in Maitama. All the banks that have money, if you see the crowd, you think there's a civil war. I can't imagine myself going to queue there. One boy that was interviewed on Sunday evening, he came from one of the satellite communities. He said the ATM where he has queued for about 4 hours. When he got to his stop, it was only dispensing to 2,000. He spent 500 to come to town. He was spent 500 to go back. So, and he had only be able to get 2,000. And some people are saying, oh, it's the best for us. You can buy mango with POS. People are not averting their minds to the fact that many of these micro businesses, that particularly those who sell perishable goods, when their products is not sold on time, it's a waste. And these are the engine room of the economy.
Said how somebody wanted to buy banana, which is very perishable, and of course, woman said she doesn't have a account, and of course, the buyer actually wanted to buy
banana. So that's why I said, look, if this is targeted at politicians who want to buy food, it is a wrong-headed policy.
Meanwhile, now presently they are at Supreme Court. What are we expecting?
I expect Supreme Court to do some
So will you not charge the president for contempt?
No, it's the Attorney General. It's not the president that will sue. It's the Attorney General that will be convicted for contempt. And I feel that their lordship will come very hard on Malami today. I have a strong feeling. Because with this subsisting order from 8 to 15, 15 to 22nd, and you have despised, you have misadvised Mr. President, the 200 naira that was even reissued, I couldn't see it.
I see dispensing 15 naira. If you are lucky to enter the banking hall,
I saw somebody with coins.
15 naira, they are even, and the 15 naira notes, I was told, is even mutilated. They are not new. So is this how to run an economy? And we haven't seen the full impact of this. People think Buhari wants to finish strong. This is Fuladi. Exactly.
This is Fuladi. This is not how to finish strong.
Let it be said that it was in my time we did
No, but when he wanted to do it in 1984, he did it at the beginning of his administration, not when he was leaving the state. And mark you.
And if he had it in mind, why did he do it during the twilight of the election?
Oh, in 2018.
19.
Why did he even do it in 2018 ahead of 2019? That's the selfishness that we are talking about. Now, people have invested their life savings contesting this election. Now, you have made APC to become a pariah, so much so that in many places where they would have won, people are now angry with the party, and they will whip them on Saturday. I can bet you in FCT, it will be very difficult for APC to get 25%.
25 or 10.
No,
I think the race will be between the even Labour and the PDP.
For FCT. So the mood of the nation is such that
you know, it didn't even APC did not even win, barely managed 5%
in 2019. So what I'm saying is that a smart politician will not do what Mr. President is doing.
And at the same time, you know, this is the highest hypocrisy involved. At the same time, he's also still following he had the mega rally
yesterday in Lagos.
So,
that is hypocrisy. He keeps saying that Ashwaju will succeed him. He will continue with his legacy. But the same person you want to succeed you are hurting his chances of success.
Anyway, like somebody said, it's just about 3 days now to election.
It's 3 days.
We will start seeing the money. The money will start coming out. Because they have to spend, whether you like it or not. Like we saw in one video in one of the presidential aspirants that he promised the supporters 20 million naira. He did it. So they started burning some of their
Where was that?
Sorry.
Oh, okay. Promised them 20 million naira for what?
For their support. And they didn't get it because they visited the state and they started burning their t-shirts, their caps. Well, that is by the way. We are going on a break. We'll come back, we have other paper new cover stories to read. Don't go away.
For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
Inside Nigeria, keeping you informed on what matters.
Yes, you're welcome back. In case you're just joining us, the program is Inside Nigeria and it's with your leadership television. With this studio has been a political analyst, disseminated columnist, and it's in the studio. So the pleasure to have you every Wednesday. Winifred, we have other papers this morning to discuss as well as their headline stories. Let's look at the punch. The punch says, still on Naira crisis. Has trapped Nigerians bank on Supreme Court as hearing resumes today. Governors demand Malami Emefiele sanction for contempt of court. Banks extend old 1,000 naira, 500 naira notes collection mop up to April 10th. Okay, banks extend old 1,000 naira, 500 naira notes collection mop up to April 10th. Panic in black market as dollar naira rate fluctuates sharply. Naira crisis has struck Nigerians bank on Supreme Court as hearing resumes today. Governors demand Malami Emefiele sanction for contempt of court. Banks extend old 1,500 naira notes collection mop up to April 10. Panic in black market as dollar naira rate fluctuates sharply. That's story on the punch. Meanwhile, let's also look at other stories on the cover punch. Police are not taking now suspects with fake new notes. Kerosene price rises by 136%. 5 police chiefs posted to Rivers CPs redeployed. That is one of the leading stories on the punch. Yes, what do you have to say about these fake news narratives?
I saw it yesterday in the porch and I shared it
And
on
even
my
the
Facebook.
ones like this one I was sharing with my office, I have two 500 narratives. Though they have the security features, but there's a difference between two of them.
That means they are fake. You see, this is what
They
happens
have the
when
security features, but they are
they,
they're a little different.
it's not that they are fake. You know, I've seen video of somebody who is printing, just using chemical to print the naira note. This is part of the reason they said they are designed to pop counterfeiting. But when there is scarcity, did you know the one that was caught has 250,000 of 1,000 notes fake for him, and he moved from I think from Lagos to Ekiti. He wants to go and use it to buy goods from the villagers there. He wants to go and buy kola nut and all these things.
See the
But
harm he was planning to do to this village.
just imagine. So he would just give them tissue paper for money, and this is part of the fallout of this naira redesign, because where once there is shortage, you know the basic rule of economics is that where supply is lower than demand, price will rise. Where demand is greater than supply, where demand is greater than supply, where price will rise. Where supply is greater than demand, price will low. So now demand is much higher than the supply. So that's why people are counterfeiting, people are selling. There was a video of somebody, a POS operator, charging 4,000 naira or 10,000.
Oh, yes.
4,000 to collect 10,000. This is what we pay 200 naira in December.
Yes.
Now it has come because
December
people
is
need
fine.
cash to be able to transact small business. Imagine you climbing Okada that will take 100 naira and then you say you don't have cash. Will you be telling Okada operator anyway? I've seen a trending video.
Let me transfer.
I've seen a trending video of someone in Lagos, a bus conductor in Lagos that is carrying POS. I saw it get Alakman. So if it could be done in Lagos, maybe it could be done anywhere. So we expect
a video of or a picture of a pure water seller who had
account details at the back. But you see, the danger of all of this is that there is also what is called fake alert, fake bank alert.
Oh yes.
So you can buy this thing and give them fake bank alert, and at the end of the day, you will have consumed the goods. And so the pressure for a fledgling economy that just came out of COVID-19 pandemic, this is ill-advised.
And the
This
plan,
is completely ill-advised.
well intentioned. It was not well planned. It was not well thought.
I had a full page in yesterday's THISDAY on this issue of currency redesign, and my submission is that it was the right thing that was being done at the wrong time. Politically, it's a anarchy for APC to have even contemplated this on the eve of an election. It's a political anarchy.
Election that they hope
you hope to win an election, and you are inconveniencing, you are bringing hardship on the people that you expect to come and vote for you. I mean, it's illogical.
It is.
This is the time we should have uninterrupted water, uninterrupted light, uninterrupted fuel, uninterrupted banking operations, so that at least people will feel happy and say, okay, maybe a devil you know is better than a saint you don't know. But now the devil we know is still this devil, and I don't know how we will reward this same devil.
But you see how everybody is now aligning with Tinubu's thoughts, because at the beginning when Tinubu raised the alarm that it was targeted that people didn't really understand.
And people like Rufai and Ganduje have come out to openly say this was targeted at Jagaban. That it was targeted.
But it's never done that a ruling party we inflict so much action
on the eve of an election. And you know again
that it doesn't. It's trying to frustrate
Winifred. One thing I also want us to know, that some of these governors are also not being altruistic in their opposition to this scenario. Did you know some of them are contesting for senatorial election? and the election is holding simultaneously on Saturday.
Yeah.
So you are getting 3 ballot papers. And if your mood is such that, oh, APC has brought auto ownership, why should I vote any one of them? Somebody is telling me, yeah, you can vote Labour for president, you vote PDP for Senate. We are not that sophisticated. The mood of the nation is against APC. So right now, even those of them who are contesting for senatorial after their 2 term as governor may be a casualty in this, because by the time people get those ballot papers, they just look at it. Is it not APC? I would rather waste my vote on Labour than to go and reward the APC. And that is why I said Mr. President is not a politician. He listened to the voice of reasoning 2 years ago. When he signed the Petroleum Industry Act, he was advised not to remove subsidy. He would have removed subsidy immediately. If you recall, Timmy Silva, the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, said immediately the president signs the Petroleum Industry Act, payment of subsidy will cease. And that means in 2022, we shouldn't have had 1 kobo in subsidy. But because of 2023 election, they suspended that section of the PIA and said that subsidy will remain until June of 2023.
So what would have just happened to trigger this present government?
That's what I'm saying. If you could do it and make the country to spend close to 10 trillion, do you know almost 10 trillion now as the spend of first subsidy? 6.5 trillion last year, 3.5 trillion this year. That's 10 trillion. If you can spend 10 trillion so that PMS will not be as high as diesel, jet one kerosene, then why can't you delay the redesigning of the naira? Even if you want to do it, you can do it in April.
That's what the report said, that
you can do it in April after the election.
Taking umbrage at the way the governors, the northern governors worked against his consensus. Who knows, that would have been...
Oh, okay, the fact that they didn't support the budget of President of Senate, maybe that. But it's going to be collateral damage.
Plan that I was going to do them in.
Oh, okay. So you want to do them in?
Anyway,
no, it's speculation,
like,
but it stands reason. If you could make the country to spend 10 trillion on fresh subsidy, because you know that if the price of PMS goes to 700, 900 naira as we are buying diesel today, your chances at the poll will be very limited. Then why can't you suspend the implementation of naira redesign? So after even middle of March,
yes,
you can say from middle of March.
Yes.
After the election
has been fought and won.
And at least you will have the winner and losers will have emerged. Whether they want to go to tribunal is left to them. But at least majority of the winners will have emerged. But here you are on the eve of an election. People are queuing up. You know the training story before the suspension of BBC said, I'm going to queue up at the bank. At the bank to get money to buy fuel at the filling station to go and fuel to go and queue for my PVC. So 3 queues on the eve of election. The one we are used to is 1 queue, which is PVC. And that is for those who have newly registered.
Talking about PVC, I saw a trending video just before we came to the studio in the Foundation Street.
Yeah.
In Hunter. So, okay, you were the one that didn't
say yes.
What's actually happening?
I don't know.
Meanwhile, INEC on the other hand is saying that people are not coming to collect their PVC. Meanwhile, trending videos also show people queuing up for trying to collect their PVC. Some are even made to pack with some money. Like
there was a lady that was collecting 1,000 from the villagers.
INEC has not responded to this at all.
You know, this is not the first time. In Rivers, I think Ahawada is some ways. Last year, they said they saw some PVC.
Yes.
Now, it has happened in, is it Anambra now? They say they will not, and most of the PVC they saw belongs to anyone. even assuming without considering that these are PVCs that were uncollected, INEC still has to account for them.
Yes.
INEC still,
So people are saying that it's an attempt to disenfranchise some people.
Winifred, as we speak,
It's deliberate.
INEC is showing this country the statistics of how many PVCs have been collected. We need to know that before Friday.
Exactly.
How many of the 93.4 million PVCs that were allegedly, 93.4 million people registered, how many of them have collected their PVCs? Because, as I said, in many states, people did not collect their PVC. And we need to know, because the moment you don't collect your PVC, you cannot vote.
Yes.
Am I communicating? If you have not collected your PVC, you cannot vote. So if you cannot vote, because you have, that means by now, as at today, Wednesday, latest by tomorrow, INEC needs to give us word by word, if not polling unit by polling unit, word by word, local government by local government, as to how many votes we are expecting. Because that's what can also help to prevent overvoting.
Yes.
You cannot say in this world there are 25,000 registered voters. If we don't know how many of that 25,000 collected their PVC, then we don't know. We will just be benchmarking voter turnout against 25,000. Knowing full well that it will be only 5,000 people that collected their PVC. And it is from that 5,000 that we will not deduct how many are accredited. I raised this issue on NTA yesterday, on Good Morning Nigeria on NTA.
At least you are quite familiar with
I raised this, that the INEC is still owing us that statistics of how many in each state we are expecting to vote. Because it's not the number of registered voters now that is important. It's the number of people who collected their PVCs, and then we'll benchmark it against those who were accredited. Then that will give us and you know, in my column in the Punch today, I talked about the pillars of integrity. And one of the pillars of integrity is INEC. INEC is one of the pillars of integrity. Thus far, the commission has done very well. It's been very transparent. Last week, they told us election will not hold in 240 polling units. They gave the breakdown of those polling units where there will be no election. And civil society situation group and other civil society organizations have already marked those polling units. So any one result that is seen from that polling unit, we know there is a fraud. And now what INEC needs, the last stage of transparency we are expecting of INEC is to give us, at least if not polling unit by polling unit, let them give us word by word statistics of how many people collected their PVCs, so that we know in Abia, out of the 1.8 registered, only 720,000 collected PVCs. And this is the breakdown across the local government, across the world, so that we then know when there is a fraud. Because if you cast your mind back to 2020, 2003, Ogun State's result was nullified by the court on the basis that the number of vote cast in Ogun in 2003 was more than the number of registered voters. And that was the election that returned Obasanjo to power. The Supreme Court, now the Court of Appeal. But you know, when they did the math, it was not substantial to nullify the victory of Obasanjo. But it tells you the story of when there are no integrity checks. You understand? And that's why for this Saturday election, Beavers is the game changer.
Yes, it is. I saw a write up on it.
Beavers is the game changer.
Because many people are still not saying fear. I said, no, fear not, because Beavers.
That's what obedience movement is. The obedient movement is bent on tracking the vote of.
I said, no, we have Beavers now. Beavers is the game changer. They said, Beavers, they're not using Beavers. I said, no.
It's not carried out. We've been using before now. So the point to note is that we commend INEC for all the great works it has done. Yesterday, they gave us statistics of the number of observers and the observer groups, 229 groups. both international and local. And then the total number of deployments they gave us, which is also part of the transparency we are talking about. But this number of PVC collected, that was the reason INEC gave why they had to suspend the PVC distribution on February 5, so that they can get the statistics to give the public ahead of the poll. So time is thinning out. We need this information latest by tomorrow, so that civil society can digest it and know exactly how many people we are expecting in Okija, how many are expected in Kara Namuda, how many people, so that we don't have doctor's figure. Because the fear people are expressing about these beavers is that, like it was alleged by the majority decision of tribunal judges in Osun, that PVC was either sidelined or that there was yes, because that's why there was overvoting. There was overvoting. The number of votes outnumbered the number of accredited voters in 744 polling units. That's why when they now reviewed and do the arithmetic, that's why they now nullified the election of Senator Ademola Adeleke. Although INEC has challenged that on 44 grounds that the tribunal did not advance its mind to. Because INEC created that confusion there. They issued the first report, which they call interim report. But as at the time they were giving the APC team, they didn't call it interim. They now say it was interim. Then they came up with another report, which they said synchronized report. Where is that one now? Which one is synchronized? Which one is that? So, again, be on the lookout. Issues around the use of beavers or non-using may come up. Because in many communities where they want to reach, they will prevail on those presiding officers not to use the beavers. And the outcome of that election is nullified. Because the moment you don't use beavers, or there is one vote above the number accredited in the beavers, then the result stands nullified. So a lot of technicalities will come into this Saturday's election. And I do hope those who conducted training for all these, particularly presiding officers, and the collation and returning officers, have educated them sufficiently.
And the INEC is supposed to also be neutral in all this, because they are supposed to be re-polling agents for all the parties.
INEC is neutral, but you see, the issue is about following through the different stages. Section 64, sub 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 says, when results are brought to you at the collation center, you need to check the beavers to know the number of accredited voters in beavers. These have been the number recorded on the EC80 form. EC80 form is the result of the polling unit. Now, if you have beavers, which takes a record of all the registered voters, all the accredited voters. Now, if what you have on beavers is 450, and in the EC80 form, which is the result of the polling unit, you now saw 350, you should know that that result cannot fly. You have to nullify. Because the beavers, according to section 64, the beavers is the one that will be used for conflict resolution.
However, like what you just explained now, what about the INEC officer? Why would he even do that? Didn't he also take notes?
That's why I hope they have been trained adequately. You see, I pity INEC. For me, by tomorrow, all the presiding officers and the 3 assistant presiding officers, they are supposed to move to what is called RAC, Registration Area Center, which is a world collation center, by tomorrow evening. Now, it so happened that because of fear of insecurity or ill health or whatever, some people may pull out at the last minute. And if they pull out, INEC will have to recruit urgently replacement. And this replacement may not have been trained on the use of beavers. You get, like in all these places in the southeast where there is still unknown government rampaging. If some people now decide to pull out on Friday, maybe you are expecting them to come to RAC and you didn't find them, and on the morning of election, you are supposed to leave your rack for polling unit at 6. You didn't see them, they switch off their phone. What will you do? So somebody else will have to, that's what they will call contingency. You now move somebody who possibly did not get training on the use of beavers to step into that in order to calm trainers. That's why INEC should possibly have said that, look, for you to pull out, if you know you are not going to be available, give us 72 hours notice. I don't know whether I'm making sense. So you cannot pull out, just like in case of political parties, candidates, you cannot pull out of the race. All these people are endorsing Atiku. All these people are endorsing P2B. After they have nominated their own presidential candidate, it's just it's tratra. Because the law says you can only pull out 90 days to election. So
90 days.
Yes, 90 days, 3 months. So where you now in this week, you now went to Yola and said 5 political parties are endorsing Atiku. They're just collecting money to make money. So what I expect INEC also to do is to tell those who have been trained to say you need to give us 3 days notice if you are not going to be available, so that we can find the replacement, train that person to assume your task. But where you now pull out in the eve or in the dawn of the election day, you make the job of the commission difficult. And there will be 1.4 million people already recruited to do this work. So there will be lockdown on Saturday. Anyone that wants to pull out needs to pull out latest by today.
Thank you so much for your analysis on this. And for that, I look forward to having the same time same station. My name is Philip.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 08036886158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.